Alright. Sorry, I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy. But, anyways, yes, I've collected some Sakura tech. Tried doing it in applications and looking for what, like, the biggest, failing points and how to get around them. Big thing, big number one pump fake is, anti-airs. Anti-airs are garbage. Sakura's anti-airs have terrible hurt boxes and compared to their hit boxes for emergency situations, which is only amplified by her buttons being pretty committal, like standing hard punch on, or especially her fireball game. She can play a fireball game and be like pesky and charge up fireballs to help her go in, but they actually don't. They move like pretty quickly, honestly, and they don't have that much block stun once you actually throw them out and they get blocked. They're not that great for getting you in. It's not like a Laura fireball or anything like that. In fact, when you're in trigger and you throw them, they actually move slower than when you're not in trigger, or trigger 1. So, anyways, I think her anti-airs suck. I think when she has meter, she can anti-air from long range with the EX uppercut, but it's not particularly rewarding. Like, but you can still play a fireball game at, like, from downtown and then just anti-air a long distance jump in if they're trying to get over it. And from that method, you can, use fireballs to get in. But other than that, like, hanging around back here, there's not. Her fireballs are really bad. I mean, I already talked about this in my first video on Sakura, but basically, I'm not asking for her fireballs to be great, but I would like them to not be -8 on block. I mean, I know that, like, Akuma's is minus some ridiculous number that's, like, barely punishable at all. But it really sucks to have, like, to be stuck in your animation for so long, because it really limits the number of things that you can even safely do, especially when you're in the corner. Your main safest option as a poke into a fireball is not crouching medium kick, because there's a massive gap there that can be jumped over. You're really forced to either do like the occasional like standing light kick into fireball. Even that sucks. It's mainly like hard punch. You can poke with hard punch into fireball. There's not really a gap there, and it creates plenty of space. That's a fine poke. See, that one's okay. Hard punch is a pretty good button all around. I feel like it's underused, but I think it's not bad. The ability to do several things like create frame traps. It's one of your only buttons that's pretty safe to just poke with a fireball afterwards. And you can do stuff like that into heavy Tatsu, and it's pretty reliable, especially if you are going to meaty the opponent or something after a throw. There's a variety of things you can do, and your standing heavy punch is pretty good for it. But anyways, new stuff, or at least stuff that's not commonly known. Basically, so against crouching opponents, there's a few slight combo extensions or things that you can do, such as like you can do that into... Okay, first I need to explain about back hard punch. So it travels as it moves. It doesn't go as far as it used to. It used to be better. I still think it's like her most versatile button. But anyways, yeah. Used to go even further. But yeah, it has additional active frames as it's traveling. So, like at some distances, like that's -4 on hit. Then it gets further, you hit at the tail end, -3. So anyways, basically, you can actually cancel this either early or late. If you hit it immediately, and you cancel it into a button, say you do like this into back hard punch, and immediate cancel into Tatsu, you're not within throw range. But I'm going to do the exact same thing, and still be in throw range by late canceling the hard punch as late as possible. Right there. And then because Sakura's continuing to move forward during the active frames, you're a little bit closer, which allows you to get some nifty combo stuff going on, such as getting medium Tatsu combos off of certain situations on crouching opponents, like so. And against standing opponents, you can do your normal medium punch, back hard punch, but then you can late cancel it into the air fireball to get the to get a knockdown like that, only if they're standing. So by doing this, you can actually create optimized meterless combos in the corner, like your normal combo in the corner would look like, with no meter would look like that, which would be like 294 damage. But if you late cancel that and then do a light uppercut, that's 310 and it's more stun. This doesn't really change, outside of like V-trigger combos, this doesn't really change anything, because if you do like that, it's still more optimal than you doing anything with the delayed cancel into the anti-air fireball. The EX Tatsu routes are always going to be better. But yeah, anyways, in mid-screen, that means you can get like the anti-air fireball as a knockdown, and it's like a really, really good knockdown. Easily her best one. You can get several forward dashes, or, you know, or even fully charge a standing fireball with a fair amount of safety, unless the opponent has like something invincible to projectiles. But you'll definitely be able to anti-air if they jump over that. And then in trigger, you can use this to drastically increase your combo potential on if you catch the opponent standing. If you dash in and get the hit, or in a meaty situation, or in a punish situation, whatever, being able to link this before, you could just get like that using your trigger as and fireball. But instead, you can get something like that, which has a much better knockdown and way more corner carry and a bit more damage. And you can add a bar meter to that. And you can get real Soviet damage. And by the way, there's a slight trick to being able to do. Oh fuck. So that's still pretty hard to pull off. The timing the second falling strike of the V skill to be right when you hit the ground. But it's slightly easier if you hit him with the first hit really high up in the air, because you have more time to fall, and it increases your momentum. So there's like basically a slightly wider window of frames in which the frame that you press, that the input connects, will also be the one that you land, because the higher up you are when you do the first hit, the longer you have to fall, which means the longer you have to build momentum, so your acceleration means that there's like a bigger window on each frame that you'll have to land the hit and land on the ground at the same time, so that you don't pop back up again. Which makes it more reliable to do the harder combos like that. Oh fuck. So yeah, other than that, there's also some things that you can abuse. So basically, light kick is like shitty. Sakura's buttons are not really that great, and like her light kick is fine, but basically you run into a lot of frame trap situations where you don't have anything that actually reaches at a speed at which you need to frame trap the opponent, except for light kick. Like if you dash up and check the opponent with jab, anything like that, you're at a frame advantage. Like, and you can frame trap them, but the only thing you can really frame trap them with is light kick. That's it. You don't have any other options at that range. Now, it's very, very good to like do dash up jab into back fierce, because that'll catch them catch a lot of buttons that they might be pressing. But if they press a 4-framer like right between them, that will still, the 4-framer will still beat you out. So the only real frame trap that you have in a lot of situations, like after you check the opponent, is just light kick. But light kick doesn't cleanly combo into anything or frame trap into anything, and the only things, like on counter hit, it'll combo into that. But you can't hit confirm that, and on counter hit, it'll combo into that. But it's like you don't want to burn meter just to like... Sometimes you have to, but you don't want to really burn meter like that, which is why it's annoying. So you can also, that's why I like using Trigger 1, especially, is because you get a few more things to abuse. You can... it also works, light kick will counter hit combo into the fireball. You can cancel your fireballs immediately into the V skill. And, yeah, it's... It's not super abusable, but it's something. And there's a few other buttons that you can press. Like, back when I was playing Sakura originally, I was like, man, in these situations where you can't use light kick, you have to, like, if the opponent's pressing a 4-frame or something every time to stop you, because they know you're not gonna, like, be willing to commit to spinning a bar of meter to make a guess that you're going to frame trap them, and then put yourself in, like, a -2 situation like that. It's handy to do medium kick in those situations, because that'll usually, like, counter poke their 4-framers, or medium kick or heavy punch will usually win. So that's, like, the adaptation that you have to be making, but sometimes even that doesn't work. So I really wish they just, like, buff the range of, like, crouching medium punch. Maybe crouching medium kick as well. Like, give her the ability to do those frame traps. Like, something, a frame trap that's not just with light kick. Or just make light kick counter hit combo into a regular fireball, so you can at least get some amount of damage and not make it punishable on block. Like, at almost every single range. Because, like, -8 at that range sucks. A lot of people, like, you probably won't get punished too often, but it's, you will get hit by buttons if they just take their turn afterwards. That's also why having this move is handy, because you can use it in those situations where the only thing that you can frame trap at the range is light kick. Well, you can beat counter poking with that. You can only use this when you have a frame advantage, because its hurt box doesn't pull back, like, immediately within the first 2 or 3 frames, but it does pull back a significant degree. So you get a frame advantage, then you expect them to counter poke, and then this is free. You can do that for free. Doesn't cost anything, doesn't cost V-gauge, and it's great. So it's not bad. It's not a bad, like, substitute for, like, just taking a guess on the light kick, or not even having real, or, like, giving up on actually frame trapping the opponent. Like I already said, anti-airs are garbage. Number one wanted buff is just make light punch DP invincible to jump-ins. That's all I want, really. Like, I could, this character is totally fine for the most part, and could be much, much stronger if you could actually just anti-air without having to worry about whether or not your opponent's jump-in button will randomly, like, happen to beat out yours, or anything like that. Another fancy thing, I didn't even know about this when I made the previous Sakura video, but because when I played Sakura, I distinctly remember testing and it not being the case that you could option select your back hard punch to get the EX anti-air fireball on crush counter, but regular fireball on normal hit. But you can. You can now, anyways. Apparently, it was, like, at some point the patch made it so that you can. And now it works. So you just do the back hard punch, and then you input a normal fireball, and then overlay 3 kicks. So with all those things, especially those like improved mid-screen combos by using that, the ability to do like V-skill stuff, I think that her trigger one is actually pretty good, and I think people should use it more often. Oh, other tech that I saw from the more like dedicated Sakura players. Here, let me set it up. You can, that was a shitty combo. You can get way more, but you can post stun off of certain knockdowns, like that in trigger 1. You can create a reset where you can do that and then dash a few times, and basically it allows you to reset them with a high-low. It's annoying. So you can get stuff like that going on. Her buttons can get like counter buffering and counter poking pretty well, but on the whole it's like she can, you know, it's still a struggle. Especially when it's like you don't have reliable anti-airs if your opponent starts going in that direction. One thing I would like to see changed is I would like to see light Tatsu. If they're not going to do like it being a huge combo filler, combo extender loop thing, I would like it to see it be an actually like a legitimate poke, like something I can do from here, because it looks like it should be hitting, but it just doesn't. It actually has like kind of mediocre range. It can be hit at a certain range so that it hits meaty, and on counter hit it's like +4 rather than +3. See right there was +2 rather than +1. But still, it doesn't hit anywhere near as far as it looks, and I would like it to be like maybe sped up a little bit, possibly to the point where it can counter hit combo off of, like, I just want light kick to counter hit combo into fireball, or like light Tatsu, if nothing else, and buff like the range of crouch medium punch to extend the range of her actual frame traps, real frame traps, not like decent but not actually legit frame traps like that. And give her a real anti-air, like something that's actually invincible. That's not fair to say. Vega needs a real anti-air. Sakura just needs a better anti-air. So yeah, on the whole, I think her trigger 1 is pretty good, and I've been using that primarily. Oh, also another small tidbit. If you're alright, here. I can show this by crouch blocking in response to blocking. So if you catch your opponent standing after blocking like standing heavy punch or back hard punch, if you catch them standing, you can actually cancel into the anti-air fireball, and it's like a super true block. It's a true block string, which means that their hurt box won't be able to go to a crouching position before you cancel into the anti-air fireball. And the anti-air fireball is plus on block. It whiffs against crouchers, but you can, like, if you catch your opponent not blocking low, it's similar to like dash up and catch them low. You can do stuff like with that. You can also dash up and do like back hard punch, and if you catch them standing, you have a few frames to identify that and cancel into the anti-air fireball. And then that'll be +4, and they can't avoid blocking that. They have to block that at that point. So like in this situation, if you like say get the dizzy and you want to create like a reset, you can do that in a crouch jab, and you can walk, stay on the same side. You can walk underneath them, you can dash underneath them, or you can immediately do an anti-air fireball, and even if they're blocked, they're crouching. It hits on the first frame of them getting reset, and you're going to be +6. And you're not going to move anywhere because it's a projectile. So that way you can stay on the same side. So like your cross-up option, you would do like that. But if you want to stay on the same side, you can do something like that. And if they block it, you're +6. +6! You can do a bunch of stuff after you're that. You're +6 right in their face. So that's fairly okay. You know, it's not the greatest, because that implies that you have a way to get the stun in the corner. I'd also like her fireballs to move slower. If they're, like, in some way, I want them to be changed. Because, like, even characters with bad fireballs still have a point to them. Like, Ken's fireball sucks. But his at least still creates, like, decent frame traps off of his, like, say, low, medium kick or whatever. I know there's gaps, but, like, they're not, like, abysmal on block like Sakura's are. Sakura's is even, like, terrible on hit when poking at this range. Like, -2 after that. Like... And Ken's will actually, like, Ken has an actual DP that he can use to anti-air. That's invincible. And it works to catch... It's a poking button. It's used to beat counter-poking or pressing small buttons like lights or anything like that in neutral. You stay at Footsie's range and then you throw the fireball and then it hits. And then Akuma's is like the ultimate version of that, because if Akuma's hits your extended limbs, then it gets a knockdown and he gets in. Sakura's is like in the middle to the point where it's not useful for any one particular thing. And usually most characters' fireballs are at least like good at something, even if they're not supposed to be like zoning characters or characters that have extremely strong fireballs. So I feel like it's not asking too much for it to be like either like increase the startup speed so it combos off of counter hit light kick and recovers a little bit faster. I don't think they need to go in that direction because that's making it more like reuse fireball. But if they could like make it better on block, have like increased block stun, and make it move slower, then maybe like slightly increase the startup speed so there's not like gigantic gaps like that they can just jump over, like there. I think that would be fair. I think it'd be fair to give that. I also see a lot of Sakura players always doing the meaty standing hard kick after they throw, which is like fine, but there's many other things that you can be doing to meaty them. Besides, like, if it's just about meatying them and not about beating anything, like that'll beat wake up buttons and it'll at least hit them if they wake up backdash. It won't like crush counter them or anything for wake up backdashing, but see, it just hits them. So yeah, your only way to beat like wake up backdashing is like to forward dash yourself. But in doing so, I think that like there's other options that could be used. Like walk up, light kick, EX Tatsu, which will combo on counter hit and create a frame trap. Do a slight walk forward into standing hard punch into like heavy Tatsu or a fireball. Or do a slight walk forward into back hard punch, and then you can option select that to do a regular fireball on block and do an EX anti-air fireball on hit. There's options, and then to actually beat backdashing in that situation, you can just do like something like that, and you can option select that as well. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my observations after playing some Sakura. I didn't get that much time to do so. I mainly, like, looked up other people's tech and watched, high-ranking matches of, like, other Sakura players to see how they were using their tools, and then looking at, some of their struggles and going into the lab to try and find stuff for it. I didn't get that much time to play myself. I've been super busy. That's why I've been making videos. But yeah, anyways. I think that she's like nowhere near as bad as people say. Like I said in the last video, I think that she's nowhere near as bad as the other characters that people categorize as really bad or bottom 5. She has plenty more tools than a lot of those other characters. The only department she really struggles with, like, maybe not super strong in, but the only department she really struggles in is, like, anti-airs, so. And that doesn't mean that she can't anti-air. She has really strong options to beat those. So yeah, it's not like she doesn't have any anti-air options, it's just that in an emergency, her tools will often fail her. And that she doesn't have anything threatening off of an anti-air, because she doesn't get Oki off of any of them, especially like, unless she gets like a crush counter with the back hard punch. Or you manage to, like, be godlike and anti-air with that, which is possible, but not easy. It's not a move that's really built for that.